Welcome to another edition of Bison Break. I'm your host, Brenden Whitted, and all our guests here are super special. But this guy right here, I've known for a good little bit, the longest of anybody I've known. Man, I was trying to think about how long it's been. It's been over 10 years, right? Like it's been.
Yeah, it was 2007, I think, when we met. So
Yeah, that was a little grip ago. My
6 years now.
homie, my boy, my brother in Phi Sigma Pi, Calvin Simmons. Welcome to Bison Break. It's a pleasure to have you on, man.
Man, I'm excited to be here, man. I've always wanted to get interviewed by my personal favorite journalist, and I tell you this all the time.
Thank you.
So I feel official now. I feel
Like a ref with a whistle, man. You know what it is. You know what it was, man. All right, okay. So let's start with, because you were the one that kind of that let me know more about Bison Express and got me involved in it. You serve on the board. Tell me just a little bit about kind of your origin story about getting involved with the organization.
Yeah. So I went to Howard. Unfortunately, the good Lord did not see fit to bless me with athletic ability that would translate outside of like 13 years old. So but always was a big sports fan. Love sports, baseball, basketball, football were my favorites, but like just always in and around the game, like, just like wanting to be a part of it. My older brother played it, now he's a coach. So like I'd be breaking down film with him when I was like in high school. And so like just really, really loved the game and knew that like at some point I wanted to take what was like a passion of mine and a hobby, really, something I paid to do, and turn it into something that would be more formal. So was able to work for the New Orleans Pelicans, which is my hometown team, my favorite team. And so while I was working with the Pelicans, I was like, well, this is a really good chance for me to take what I'm learning working in sports, and to try to use it to help my alma mater, which is something else I love dearly, which is Howard University. So that was really how it started. I reached out to the chair, Bruce Williams, who you may or may not have met. And Bruce, asked me like kind of why I wanted to be on the board, what I thought I could bring to it. And I thought that like just based on my background of working in digital marketing and operations, that I could help to grow the digital footprint for Bison Express, make them kind of digital forward, start to engage more younger alumni. So like myself, I graduated 2010. So I wanted to get some of my classmates and just different conversations I had. I knew people were interested, but just didn't quite know how to find it. So really just hope to make it more accessible. And what we do at Bison Express is we just try to support Howard Athletics as best we can with whatever they need. So we build relationships with the athletic department, build relationships with the coaches, and just try to make sure that, we are giving our Bison athletes the best opportunity to, to succeed on the field and also off the field. And so that's really important to us, is making sure that they are, equipped, empowered, have what they need to compete at the highest levels, but also to make sure that their life after the game is one that is fulfilling and rich for them.
Well, I'm glad you mentioned your background with the Pelicans, because that's one of our icebreakers. That's right. Now, while I know you a little bit better, I want everybody that's going to see this and the rest of the alumni to know a little bit more about you. So you mentioned the Pelicans. Are they making the playoffs this year?
I think we're getting the play-in. I think we're gonna get in the play-in. I think we'll get in by the skin of our teeth. But I love the fact that we got CJ. I love Zion. I love Herb Jones. He is actually my favorite player in the NBA right now. I bought his jersey at the last game, so I'm all in on Herb. I just love our team. I love our coach. We got a black coach, which I absolutely love, and he's a young guy. He wears Pradas on the sidelines, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just amazing. I love Willie Green. So I think we'll be able to sneak in, but next year is really gonna make some noise. So,
Okay.
this year we'll a little taste, and then next year that appetite is gonna be insatiable. And Brandon Ingram, most underrated player in the NBA. I'm gonna say that. I mean that. I stand on that.
I mean, he's from North Carolina.
Yeah.
Speaking of speaking of where folks is from, you mentioned you from the NO. So were you rooting for Joe Burrow and the Bengals in the Super Bowl?
Absolutely. So I love Joe because, like, I mean, like, if I'm not rooting for Howard, then I'll root for LSU. Just because that's the home state team. I love Joe, but I love Jamar Chase more. So like I actually was more so rooting for Chase. Because Chase is a New Orleans kid. And so, but yeah, I love Joe. I mean, Joe cool, you know what I mean? He definitely came down here and got a little swag. He definitely was not acting like that in Ohio. And so, you know, I definitely like Joe. I was sad to see him not get it, but I love Odell too. So
Why
I
you
was happy.
taking shots at Columbus, man? Why you take? I mean, we got alumni from Columbus. Ain't no reason for that. Ain't no reason for that.
Look, nothing wrong with that. You know, I just saw, you know, they weren't trying to let him go, but you know, it's
No
cool.
one wins when the family feuds, young sir. No one wins.
Columbus, I
Okay.
got so much love for Columbus. Much
All right.
love.
So I'm gonna stick with the New Orleans flavor. Your favorite part of Mardi Gras?
My favorite part of Mardi Gras. So my favorite parade is Bacchus. It's the Sunday before Mardi Gras Day. It rolls the traditional St. Charles route. They have the big floats. They have all the bands. Usually get to enjoy that with my friends, and like we just hang out and just chill and just enjoy it. My favorite thing about it is really just seeing people, like, especially with this one coming up, it'll be kind of special because it's the first, you know, kind of post-COVID, I guess. Are we post-COVID? Kind of post-COVID-y Mardi Gras. And just like what I love about it most is just bumping into people. So I see people from kindergarten, from pre-K, all the way up through high school, even though randomly bumping into people from college who are down here visiting from Howard. And just see like family and friends. And like, it's, you know, I mean, I know a lot of people, their idea of Mardi Gras is like Bourbon Street and people being wild and drunk out of their minds. But the Mardi Gras that I experienced as somebody from New Orleans is a little different. It's more of a family event, still very drunk, but like also a lot more of a family event, and a lot more of my little cousins running around playing and getting to throw the football with them between parades and stuff like that is what I enjoy about it the most.
I really appreciate it when I was down there for law school when I was at Tulane. I really appreciate you guys. I mean, it's a whole slew of y'all.
Yeah.
From it's probably latex parties were so much fun. But it was a whole bunch of y'all. Y'all really just kind of took me in. I was some of the best times, even though it was still school, was down there and hanging in NO with y'all. So I definitely appreciate that. And that kind of leads me to my next joint. How'd you decide on Howard coming from NO?
So super funny story. So I in the ninth grade, I did a project on Diddy actually for Black History Month. And I was like, oh, he went to Howard. I didn't know that. And then I was like, I'm gonna go to Howard then. Like very like, you know, like as a ninth grader, like that was all I needed. And so then Katrina happened. And so Katrina was my senior year of high school. So we evacuated to Dallas, which is where like my family, you know, permanently relocated for a bit. And so at that point, I'm like, nope, I'm going to LSU. Like, I gotta get back home. Like, I'm ready to get back home. I'm going to LSU. So my mom, we only had like, you know, enough money to take one visit. And so my mom was like, well, we're gonna visit Howard. I was like, well, we could just visit LSU. It'd be easy. We could go visit home. Like, it'd be easy, blah, blah, blah. She's like, nope, we're going to Howard. And so really, I guess it was her foresight. Because I went there on the first warm day in the spring. And I was like, yeah, I was like, do I have to leave now? Can I just like start school already? Like, I mean, you know. So yeah, so really I'd say I decided to go to Howard because of Diddy. I ended up there because of my mother and her very subtle brilliance to make that decision for me.
Good on you. What man? Where would we be without moms? Like what? Like poor decision making. When did you what made you want to like start giving back and kind of how was that process? Because you're still a pretty relatively young guy, and so for you to not only be giving but to be involved in an organization that's trying to recruit others to give back, like tell me a little bit about like kind of where all of that emphasis came from.
Yeah, so I mean, it was something that I had been kind of dragging my feet on. Honestly, I had been saying it and just like kind of talking, and we've had conversations about it before. And then really it was when McCare committed that I was like, yeah, I really need to get in there right now. This is like a really good opportunity for us, and I want to make sure that like we're able to take his best advantage of that. And like, I can't do that from the sidelines. I can't do that from, you know, just tweeting about it or posting on Instagram. I need to get in there and actually do some work and also put my money where my mouth is. I mean, like, you know, to be on the board for Bison Express, we all have to pay dues. Like, it's not, you know, and so like, you know, I've been fortunate enough in my career to do, you know, pretty well to the date. And so like, you know, I was like, let me put my money where my mouth is. Let me put some actual like, you know, muscle behind, you know, causes that I care about. And also let me make sure that like, you know, like this event that we have that's like, was a watershed moment, 5-star recruit choosing a HBCU. Let's make that more commonplace. Like, let's make that where that's not front page news anymore. Like, make that where that's like not even a big deal because all the 5-star recruits are going to schools, or at least we're getting our fair share of these, Black athletes that are, driving these sports really and making these universities like LSU, so much more powerful than they would have been otherwise. And so that's really my goal, is to almost normalize this and make it where like, this isn't something that is even, obviously we love the coverage and we love the press that we get, but like, let's get the press from like having somebody win a Heisman at Howard, or having somebody, get drafted first overall in the NBA draft out of Howard. And so, I kind of saw that moment and I was like, well, let me jump in here with both feet and really put my time and my talents and my resources toward making this something that could be even greater and even more commonplace.
Yeah, I was thinking about this with the HCU, the inaugural HBCU Classic coming up. This NBA All Star game. It starts at cover starts at 2 o'clock on TNT and I believe ESPN too. And they got some HBCU talent on the call. Actually, Stephen A. Smith, who went to Winston-Salem State. Stephanie Reddy, shout out to the former Hornets sideline reporter who's doing big things. She went to Coppin State, which I didn't know at all.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
And so this was going to be the third time that the men's basketball team was going to be on national television. Yep. They had played Villanova, played Notre Dame, and now this showcase. Can you talk a little bit about what you think this means for not just Howard? I mean, obviously Howard this is about Bison Express, but for HBCUs and kind of maybe the importance of HBCUs right now, because you mentioned players going to PWIs. And maybe some of that starting to change now, just the importance of HBCUs in and out of sports.
Yeah, so I mean, I think the Classic is awesome. I think the value of HBCUs and what I see is that when I got to Howard, my experience was that I just got to be me and all of my quirks and all of my charm, and I didn't have to be the Black kid that was interested in sports or the Black kid in the accounting classes. Like, everybody in the accounting class was Black, or like it was like the white kid in the accounting class, like, you know what I mean? And so like, I think just having that time in those very formative years to really just kind of explore myself and my interests in a way that didn't have to be so racialized, I guess. I feel like I benefited from that greatly. Obviously, I only had one experience, so I can't compare that to what would have happened had I gone to, say, LSU. But I just feel like there was so much value in that, and it really helped to ground me in who I am. And now that I'm back into corporate spaces where like I may be the only Black person on a call, or I may be the only Black person working on a project, I'm not intimidated by that, and I'm able to be more authentic, I feel, or be very authentic in those spaces. So I think that's really the value of HBCUs. And also I think beyond just the students, like it's the faculty. It's allowing for Black faculty to do research that can help push our community forward in a way that is not, hopefully, and maybe I'm being a bit idealistic and kind of naive in thinking this, but hopefully that research can come from us and before us, and not be, kind of filtered through a lens of, well, we don't want to drop this because it might be too controversial, or it might be too, like, we don't want to touch that. It goes against our sort of, whatever image of the university. It's like we can actually do some real groundbreaking stuff and, really handle all the challenges that are facing us as a people. But one thing about Howard that we always talk about was like leadership for America and the global community, right? So it's like, yeah, we love Black people. We love being Black, and we want to make sure that Black people are doing well. But like, we got more than that. We can walk and chew bumble at the same time. So like, we can make sure Black people are good. We can make sure white people are good. We can make sure everybody good, and we can build something because we have a tradition of excellence. And I think that story with like colleges. My mom is a graduate of Sutton. I mean, my sister went to Xavier. My older brother went to Alcorn. So like, it's all HBCU love in my house. Like, and so yeah. So I mean, I think just like, with that kind of, like, I think all HBCUs have so much to provide as far as opportunity goes for people to really learn and to grow and to create, frankly. I mean, I think the faculty sometimes doesn't get quite the same love as the students, but like, they're immensely important. And that experience that we all love and, like think back on so fondly was created by them. And so, I want to make sure that like those people get their propers too, because like, they created that beauty that we got to experience. So So yeah, I think that's where like HBCUs provide an immense value for us as a people, but also for the world and for the movement forward of this planet that we happen to be on.
Right, cool. And the global community. I said, okay now. I said, okay now. Yeah, I really try to explain it to people sometimes, particularly people that didn't go to HBCUs about, the value in being able to both kind of take off the armor of blackness and be yourself, but also build that love of Black people and Black culture up at the same time. It was a weird dichotomy, but they were able to blend it pretty well. I'm gonna get you out of here on this joint. If you had, say, 30, 45 seconds to speak to younger, or older, my bad, alumni about why they should give, what would you say to them if you just had a pulpit real quick?
Yeah, so I mean, I would say, that the beauty of Bison Express in general and why you should support this organization if you have an interest and a love for Howard University and its athletic department is that Bison Express, we strive to be so transparent. And so like Brenden, this, if you reach out about Bison Express, we'll get you on a call with the chair like in the next week. And so we strive to be like the voice of the alumni as far as athletics go. And also like we're helping these students out and like you love these kids because you come back for their big day at homecoming, right? Like they're the reason why you're there for that. So like, if you really love these kids, like, it's a really good opportunity to pour into them. And they're doing so amazing. There's so many amazing stories coming out of Howard Athletics. There's the golf team, which is just kicking butt. There's a swim team, which is just outstanding. Women's basketball, like I'm personally the sponsor for women's basketball, so I'm partial to them. But like Coach Grace and that crew are just like on a roll. And then you see the, kind of the big football with Coach Scott. He's killing it right now and recruiting some really talented players. Coach Blakeney, obviously, we know what he's doing. And so I think like these coaches are so dedicated to these students and like helping them out is just like such an amazing feeling. And like being able to see kind of the fruits of your labor very immediately. Like, Howard University has a lot of needs, right? We know this, right? There's so many ways that you can support the university. But if you have a real interest in sports and it's something that you love and you root for, on a regular basis, like come get into this Bison Athletics. Like it's actually moving in a really good direction. And come and be a part of that and come and be a part of helping us to move it even further forward. And we'll make sure that like any resources that you give us, we steward over those like they're our own because they are, I mean, frankly. And so just come and get wrapped up in it. And like, if you love it enough, it'll love you back.
I couldn't have said any better myself. And you know me, if I could, I would have. So Calvin, man, thank you again. We obviously gotta connect at some point. We haven't seen each other in a little minute. Sadly, I think we're gonna miss Mardi Gras this year, but we will definitely get up. But thank you for taking the time. You've been great, and we'll talk soon.
Of course, anytime. Thank you so much for having me, Brenden.
Absolutely.